I was 6 feet underground when I realized my mother-in-law had finally won. The smell of fresh earth filled my nostrils as I clawed at the wooden box above my head, my scream swallowed by the soil pressing down on my coffin. My fingers bled, my throat was raw, and somewhere above me, I could hear Mama Chidi's voice leading the mourners in a Igbo funeral song. She was burying me alive, and nobody knew. But let me start from the beginning, because every Nigerian woman needs to hear this story. My name is Adaeze, and 3 years ago, I married the love of my life, or so I thought. Chidi was everything: tall, handsome, successful banker, and most importantly, he loved me scattered. We met at my friend's wedding in Lekki, and by the end of the night, he had asked for my number. 6 months later, he paid my bride price. My family was overjoyed. His family. That's where my troubles began. The first time I met Mama Chidi, she looked me up and down like I was meat at Baligan market that had stayed too long in the sun. "So you are the girl we won't marry my son," she said in Igbo accented English, her lips curled in disgust. "You are too small. Too dark. And I hear say you never born before. How we go know say you fit born?" I swallowed my anger and smiled. "Mama, God will bless us with children when the time is right." "God?" She laughed, a sound like metal scraping metal. "My pikin no need God. He needs strong woman wey fit give am children quick. Not this your yellow purple body." Chidi squeezed my hand. "Mama, please. I love Adaeze. She's my choice." Something flickered in his mother's eyes, something cold and calculating that made my stomach turn. But I ignored it. I was in love. I was foolish. The wedding was beautiful: Sheraton Hotel, Ikeja, over 500 guests, purple and gold asibi that made me feel like a queen. But even as I danced and Chidi sprayed me with crisp naira notes, I noticed Mama Chidi sitting in the corner, her face like thunder, whispering to a woman I didn't recognize. An old woman with tribal marks and eyes that seemed to see through me. "Who is that woman with your mother?" I asked Chidi later that night. "Which woman?" He was drunk on Chapman and happiness, loosening his tie. "The old one. With the marks." His face changed. "Don't mind them. Village people wey no get better thing to do. Forget about her, Mrs. Okonkwo." He kissed me, and I forgot. That was my first mistake. Little did I know that woman would be the one mixing the poison that would almost end my life. The trouble started small. I would cook Chidi's favorite ofensola, and Mama Chidi would taste it and spit it out. "This one way you cook, not for dog," she'd ask loudly, making sure the neighbors heard. She moved into our 3-bedroom flat in Surale 2 months after the wedding, claiming she needed to teach me how to be a proper wife. Every morning, she would wake me at 4 a.m. to sweep the entire compound. Every afternoon, she would criticize everything: my clothes, too tight, you want to attract other men, my hair, this Brazilian weave, you think say no runs girl you be, even the way I greeted visitors. But I endured. I was a good Nigerian wife. I respected my elder. I smiled through the insults, scrubbed the floors until my knees bled, and prayed to God for patience. Then I got pregnant. You would think this would make her happy, ABI. Wrong. The day I told her, clutching the positive pregnancy test with trembling hands, expecting maybe a smile or a hug, she stared at me like I had cursed her entire lineage. "How many months?" Her voice was ice. "The doctor said 6 weeks, Mama." She stood up slowly, and I swear the room grew colder. 6 weeks, she repeated. "And you wait until now to tell me?" She moved closer, and I could smell something on her, something earthy and wrong, like grave soil. "You think say you done smart, ABI? You think say pikin go save you?" "Mama, I don't understand." "You will understand," she whispered, and the smile that spread across her face made every hair on my body stand up. "Very soon, you go understand." That night, she served me a special soup. "For the baby," she said sweetly, too sweetly. "To make him strong." I ate it. God forgive me, I ate it. 2 days later, I woke up in a pool of my own blood. The baby was gone. My first child, my joy, flushed away in Suralaya General Hospital while I screamed and Chidi held my hand and wept. The doctors said it was a spontaneous miscarriage, that these things happen. But I knew. Somewhere deep in my spirit, I knew. Mama Chidi came to the hospital with tears in her eyes, crying louder than everyone. My grandchild, oh. Chai. Ekwensu. But when she hugged me, when her mouth was close to my ear where nobody else could hear, she whispered, "This not just the beginning." Have you ever felt true fear? Not fear of armed robbers or danfo drivers or even Nipa bill. I mean the bone-deep terror of knowing someone wants you dead and there's nothing you can do about it. I tried to tell Chidi. Your mother, I think she did something to me. Adaeze, you're grieving, he said, but he wouldn't look me in the eye. My mother loved that baby. Then why did she whisper that it was just the beginning? You're hearing things. The drugs, the trauma. I know what I heard. He got angry then, properly angry. You want me to disrespect my mother? You want me choose between you and the woman who born me? He softened, pulling me close. Baby, I know you're hurting. But don't let grief make you mad, you hear? My mother can be harsh, yes, but she's not wicked. I wanted to believe him. But every night I would wake up to find Mama Chidi standing at our bedroom door, just watching me in the darkness. Every meal she prepared tasted like bitter herbs hidden under the spices. And strange things started happening. My clothes would go missing, my photos would appear torn up in the dustbin, and I would hear her at night, chanting in Igbo, words I didn't fully understand but that made my soul tremble. 6 months after the miscarriage, I got pregnant again. This time, I told no one but Chidi. This time, I refused to eat anything Mama Chidi cooked. This time, I was careful. But my sister, you cannot fight what you cannot see. I started having dreams, terrible dreams of being buried alive, of earth filling my mouth, of screaming underground while people danced above my grave. I would wake up gasping, covered in soil that I swear wasn't there when I fell asleep. Chidi said I was sleepwalking to the garden, but I knew better. Then one Sunday, while they were all at church and I was home resting, Mama Chidi had insisted I was too pregnant to go. I found the locked room. It was in the boys' quarters behind our flat, a small room Mama Chidi said she used for storage. But that day, the door was open. Just a crack. And something, call it God, call it my chi, call it desperation, made me push it wider. What I saw inside that room will haunt me forever. Photos of me, dozens of them, each one with pins through the eyes and mouth. My underwear, the ones that had gone missing, arranged in a circle around a clay pot. Feathers. Bones. And in the center, on a small altar, a figurine that looked exactly like me, pregnant belly and all, lying in a tiny wooden box. A coffin. My hands shook as I picked it up. The figurine's eyes were closed. Its mouth was open in a silent scream. And wrapped around its neck was a thread, the same thread I'd noticed Mama Chidi wearing as an anklet. You were not supposed to see that. I spun around. Mama Chidi stood in the doorway, and the woman from my wedding, the one with the tribal marks, stood beside her. Mama, what is this? Insurance, she said simply, stepping into the room. You think say I go allow yellow purple girl like you scatter my plan? You think say I suffer born Chidi, train am, make am become somebody, just so you go come chop the fruit. I love your son. She laughed. Love? You won't use love take my son from me. Tufiokwa. She spat. That first pikin, I comot am. This one way you carry now, I go comot am too. But first, I go comot you. The room started spinning. Chidi will never forgive you. Chidi. Her smile was pure evil. My pikin go do wetin I tell am. I born am. I own am. And when you die for childbirth, he go cry small, then I go find am better wife. Obedient wife. Wife wey be her place. You're mad, I whispered. No, my daughter. I'm thorough. The old woman moved fast for her age. One moment I was standing, the next I was on the ground, something sweet and chemical pressed over my nose and mouth. I tried to fight, tried to scream, but the world was going dark, and the last thing I heard was Mama Chidi's voice. Make sure say the grave deep well. I no one hear her voice from underground. When I woke up, I was in a coffin. Not a dream. Not a nightmare. A real coffin, underground, with soil being shoveled on top of me. I could hear it hitting the wood, thud, 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 like a drum announcing my death. I screamed until my throat bled. I pounded until my knuckles cracked. And I prayed, Chai, how I prayed. God, if you are real, if you have ever loved me, don't let me die like this. Don't let her win. Don't let my baby die. Then I remembered, my phone. In my confusion, in their rush to bury me before Chidi returned from his business trip, which I now realized was probably planned, they hadn't checked my pockets. My phone was still there, tucked into my wrapper. My fingers were numb, my vision was going dark from lack of air, but I managed to dial 112, the emergency number. When the operator answered, I could barely speak. Help, buried alive. Suralere, behind 23 Akinola Street, my husband. Chidi Okonkwo, mother-in-law, burial, please. I don't remember much after that. The oxygen was running out. The world was fading. I thought of my baby, never born, never held. I thought of my mother, who would cry for me. I thought of Chidi, and whether he knew, whether he was part of this, whether the man I loved had fed me to his mother like a sacrifice. Then I heard new sounds. Shouting. Digging. Sirens. The coffin lid burst open and Lagos State Emergency Management Agency officers pulled me out into the most beautiful afternoon I had ever seen. I gulped air like water, crying and laughing and vomiting all at once, while around me, police officers wrestled Mama Chidi and the old woman to the ground. My son. Call my son. Mama Chidi was screaming. This girl done set me up. No lie. Witchcraft. She's trying to destroy me. But the police had seen the room. They had seen the shrine. And when they searched properly, they found 2 other coffins in that compound, both with bones inside. Both women. Both former daughters-in-law that died in childbirth years before Chidi was even married. I had been number 3. Chidi came rushing back from his business trip, which turned out to be real. He truly hadn't known what his mother planned for that specific day. But when the police showed him the evidence, when they made him see what his mother had done, what she had been doing for years, he collapsed. I didn't know, he kept saying, rocking back and forth. Adaeze, I swear to God, I didn't know it was this bad. I knew she was difficult, I knew she used juju, but I thought it was just small thing, just to make life hard for you, not to kill you. You hear that? He knew she was using juju. He knew she was making my life hell. He just didn't think it would go that far. That's when I realized, my husband had chosen his mother over me long before she put me in that grave. Every time I complained and he dismissed me. Every time I showed him evidence and he called me crazy. Every time he defended her and made me feel like I was the problem. He had been burying me slowly, bit by bit, long before she tried to finish the job. The case went to court. Mama Chidi and her Dibia partner were sentenced to 25 years for attempted murder and conspiracy. The bodies of the other women were exhumed and identified. Their families finally got closure after years of believing they died natural deaths. And me. I lost the baby. The stress, the trauma, the lack of oxygen, it was too much. My second child, gone like the first. But I survived. And survival, my sister, is its own kind of victory. I divorced Chidi. Took him for everything in the settlement, the house, the car, half his bank account. He didn't even fight it. The guilt was eating him alive, and honestly. Good. Let it chew him well. 3 years later, I'm remarried to a man whose mother lives in Canada and minds her business. I have a beautiful daughter, healthy, strong, stubborn like her mama. I run a foundation for women escaping abusive in-law situations, because after my story hit the news, I discovered there are thousands of us. Thousands of Nigerian women being poisoned, jazzed, abused, and killed by the very families we married into. Last I heard, Chidi is still single. His mother is in Kerikeri prison, and Kama, that beautiful, patient friend, visited him thoroughly. He lost his job, scandal, his reputation, everything. Now he's the one staying in a one-room in Mushin, probably eating EBA without soup, thinking about the wife he sacrificed to appease a wicked woman. As for me, I'm healing. Some days are harder than others. I still have nightmares about the coffin, about the soil filling my mouth. But I also have mornings where I wake up next to a man who would fight his whole family for me. I have afternoons playing with my daughter in the garden, teaching her that she owes nobody, not even family, her peace or her life. And I have this story to tell you: if your in-laws are making your life hell, don't wait for it to get better. Don't believe it's normal African family walla. Don't let anyone make you feel crazy for protecting yourself. Because my sister, I'm telling you from experience, some people will smile at your wedding and plan your funeral at the same time. Trust your spirit. Protect your peace. And if you have to choose between respecting your elders and staying alive, choose life. Every single time.